On this day, September 15th, 1916, so that's during World War II, it was the first time that tanks were used in battle. So this is during World War One, and in France, England dropped tanks into France to fight against German forces. 49 Mark I tanks were used in the battle in Flers-Courcelette. So we're going to draw a tank, like a World War One style tank. So it might look different from the tanks you're used to. So I'm going to have the base of it be about this long. Well, the whole thing will be about this long. So I'm going to come in like here and here. So that's the flat part. That's a couple of inches from the side. And we're going to then come up with a diagonal line and then kind of round that corner and then come back across. So we'll pass the bottom of this line, round the corner, down diagonally, and back up, back over. So it's kind of this like diagonally shaped rectangle. And then the body of the tank is in here. We're just going to make two kind of short lines. I'm going to turn this to a rectangle here and then add like a line down. And then we'll kind of see the other side here, like back behind. Let's come across and go back down. All right, so then we'll finish off this rectangle here. So this is the center area of the tank, like the body of the tank in here where people would be. And then this, to make this be like the exterior part of the tank, I'm going to echo this line. So I'm going to make this rectangle over again. And notice that I'm not super worried about making my lines perfectly straight. That's something that's an artistic choice. If you want things to look perfectly straight, by all means, you can do that. But for these quick lessons where I'm just trying to make a fun sketch of something that's going to help me remember this piece of history, I'm just going to make a line. And I know that by the time I'm finished, everything is going to look, it's not going to be, no one's going to be focused on minor details in my art. So I made these like circles all along to show the way that this portion is going to be moving. And then on the top, you're really seeing like these treads. So I'm going to make diagonal lines here instead of the little rollers, which are kind of like under here. So it gives us the idea that this is rolling around. And same thing on this side. I better give this one like a little bit of an echo here. And the lines. And then we're going to have some artillery here. And so I'm going to make a rectangle that has an open side, this open side here, and then kind of like a curved line with a little bit of like a cylinder coming out as well. And then I'm just going to put a bigger rectangle around there. So we've had two cannons, one on each side. And then for the rest, then I'm just going to, well, there would be like sections kind of like welded on here. So we would see, I'm just going to put dots. And that's going to help us understand that this is kind of like made of metal. And then it's really about the choice, whatever choice you want to make about color. Okay. So is this going to be sort of like gunmetal gray, a little bit of a green camo color? I'm going to go with gray. And because I used a Sharpie for my drawing in the first place, everything that I drew is going to kind of show through this light gray. And so I can just kind of color it all. And I'll probably come back over some of these areas with a straight up black and just add some of those details back in. I don't really have the green I was thinking of, like an army green. So I think this gray does the trick, but it's a tad boring. Like, you're just coloring everything one color, it can feel really boring. So I'm gonna come in here, add that gray. This would have been a great time to kind of spread out my ink with a paintbrush like watercolor. But I'm going to come back over this with black and just add like maybe some details in here, black, some shadowy areas, add them in with black. And like I said, because I drew everything with a black Sharpie, you'll notice that my washable marker, it's not as dark as the Sharpie, and so it kind of still shows all my lines through. All right. And you could definitely add some details. I mean, you don't need to have a floating tank. Maybe I'm going to add some like ground that the tank is on. But this is a good impression of a World War II Mark I tank.